Hi guys, welcome back to another video in this series on using the Corsair K95 RGB keyboard. This time I'm just going to give you some tips and tricks and what I would call sort of a future anticipation questions. Basically, I can imagine that watching this video may have generated interest but possible confusion about exactly what the Q software does. So I just thought I'd give you some tips from my experiences. The first one being that when you're on a layer and you start mapping a lot of keyboard shortcuts to keys, like I've done here, and if we just look at the screen you'll see that a lot of these keys have now got shortcuts mapped to them. What happens is you lose the functionality of the key itself. So if you're trying to type something and you need any of these letters involved in the words, you'll find that actually when you hit them, they don't display the letters, or you may get a symbol or nothing at all. Now the reason being is you've actually overwritten the key itself, and whenever you press that key, what happens is that key sends the message to basically fire off that keyboard shortcut. So for instance, this S key over here is actually firing off Shift plus 6. So every time I hit that S key, I'm not actually getting S, it's firing off Shift and 6. And then that's the same for all these other keys which I've got mapped, which you'll see are indicated by the little yellow icon. Now you might be thinking, well, that renders the keyboard useless. And initially that's what I thought. I ended up mapping a load of shortcuts to every layer and then realising when I came to just type regular Word documents that actually I couldn't type, so it meant having to wipe all the profiles and start again. So what I would advise is that you leave one of these layers blank. Don't put any keyboard shortcuts on them, and then basically you can use just one layer for typing, and then layers 2 and 3 you can use for keyboard shortcuts. So what I will do is I'll just give you an example of what I'm talking about. So I'm going to switch back to layer 3, which I'm using just to map some of the isotope modules to. So if we go into the software itself, let's just have a look at a couple of them. So at the moment I know I don't have voice denoise keyboard shortcut mapped to anything. So if we go back into the software, what we will do is we'll create the action, which is this one. So create action, click there. Down from here you go to remap key, and then from key function, keystroke. So let's just switch back to RX6, and the shortcut is Shift plus 4. So back here, just click there. So press Shift and 4. So that's now telling the Q software that we're going to create an action, and it's going to be the voice denoise, and it's going to be the keyboard shortcut Shift plus 4. Now herein lies the issue. It's this part when we're trying to rename the key itself. So we know that at the moment we don't have a name for the action, and if we switch back to the module we know it's called voice denoise. So if we go here and we try and rename it, so at the moment V's not mapped to anything, neither is O or I, but what happens is I can see the C key is mapped. So when I press C on here, I'm getting a symbol. Basically what it's saying is that this C key is in use by a keyboard shortcut. So no matter what I do, you can see I'm just getting that exclamation mark, and on the screen this Q software is showing that it keeps firing off that declip function, which is mapped to C. So you might think, well, that prohibits me from actually typing anything. But there is a way around it, and I'm going to show you that now. So we'll switch back to layer 1, which I know doesn't have any keys mapped to it. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to create that action in here. We're going to save it to the library, and then we're going to move back to layer 3, and then we're going to map it that way. So I'll show you what I mean. So create action. We'll then go down to remap key, keystroke, and I believe it was, I think, Shift and 4. Yeah, Shift and 4. So there, Shift plus 4, Now, because none of our keys are mapped on this layer, we can just go voice denoise, and you'll see it's there in the action list. Now, it's set there, there's no keyboard shortcut mapped on any of these keys. And what we're going to do is we're now going to save it to the library. So it's now gone in there. So basically, actions that go into the library can be shared onto any of these 3 layers. So we're going to switch to layer 3, and we're just going to get rid of this one that we've initially created because that was wrong, so delete that. So back into the library, hit voice denoise, go to copy to actions list, and you should see it appear up here. So now it's ready to be mapped. So for voice denoise, I'm going to go V. So over into the Isotope RX6 software, just select a chunk of audio and hit V. And there you go. It's fired off that command and it's opened up that particular module. Hit it again, removes it, back again. So that's one tip that I need to let you know about. So one of the things I'd like to show you as well is how to actually get these displays on the screen. I find them useful because it actually shows you the action that you're performing. So that can be turned on and off in the Q software. So if we go up here to the global settings, which is this little icon, hit there, and what we want to do now that we're in this view is go to this little monitor screen, hit that, and at the moment you can actually see I've got Studio One and I've got Isotope RX6 audio editor. Now I'll just remove that one and I'll show you how it works. So let's just take that off. So basically this is the on-screen display application list. So that says that when you're in a particular profile and using a particular piece of software, whenever you change the layers, you will get a little icon telling you which profile you've moved to. So if I go plus, we'll then browse to the actual software where it's installed on my Windows setup. So if I just go to Isotope and then RX6, there it is. So it's now set up. So basically it's saying that once I press any of these layer keys, we should get a little box open up, and it's this one here. Now you can change the colour of it. If you don't want red, you can make it blue or green, totally up to you. And also what I've done is set the active action layer as well, so they're both enabled, and you need to tick this box here, otherwise they won't show. So what that means is that we will show the profile and also the particular action that it's going to perform. So I use these all the time. You can turn them off if you just tick disable and it'll take them away. So let's just see that in action. So we'll just go back here. So at the moment I've got 3 layers, layers 1, layers 2 and layer 3. So if I start just pressing, you should see on the screen that it's saying, there you go, you're on the Isotope RX6 profile, because we've just gone to layer 1, layer 2, you can see that displaying, and layer 3. So I'm on layer 3 at the moment. Just select a piece of audio and hit one of the keys which we've got mapped, and you can see now on the screen it's showing you what action I've just performed. So that's a great way to just remember really what you've actually got mapped. Simple little function, but I only recently discovered that one, so I thought I'd pass that on to you. So there you go. If you've got any questions or you want any further videos on how to do things in the Q software, just hit me up with some comments and I'll have a go at answering those for you. Okay, thanks a lot.